Members of one of the NFL's top-ranked defense are joining us here for State of the Franchise. Arik Armstead, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa will soon be joined by Richard Sherman as well. That sounds like a powerhouse lineup to me, Greg. What do you think?
Defense. So does this feel like one of your teleconference meetings? Maybe I'm Robert Saleh, just not as good looking or buff.
Something like that. Something like that.
I'm going to go ahead and jump right in, talk a little bit of football. This 49ers team made major strides as a defense last year, finishing second in the league en route to a Super Bowl appearance. With how the 2019 season transpired, what's the focus of this group heading into the season? And I'll let any one of you guys answer this one.
I think the focus is obviously to make it back to the big game and winning it this time around. I think that's the focus every year, is to make it to the Super Bowl. But, I mean, we all understand that there's a lot of time and effort that is required to get to that point. And so we're just going to take it one day at a time and make sure we're working our tails off to get back.
Yeah, we're just trying to be better than we were last year.
I think we took major leaps as a defense this year, but I think we can be even better moving forward in the future. So cleaning up some of the mistakes from last year and striving to be better than we were.
Do we feel
Arik, congratulations on the new deal. And I saw your dad morning of the Super Bowl in Miami, and he was just so proud of you. So what did it mean to sign that contract extension and to stay kind of close to home?
Oh, it's amazing, being from Sacramento and growing up in Northern California. It's amazing to be able to stay here, close to my family. I didn't want to really be anywhere else, and to be able to come back and, grind with my teammates to get back to a Super Bowl, and blessed to be, in this position I am.
And to have the ability to give back to Sacramento and all of Northern California. Talk about what you've done during the lockdown.
Just trying to do everything I can to help my community in any way I can think of in my head, offer all my resources. COVID has definitely affected many communities, has affected, our whole world. So I'm just trying to do my part and give back to people who have poured so much into my life and, made me who I am today.
One thing about the beautiful part of your game, Arik, from last year is you played essentially two different spots. You played base end, and then you jumped inside in the nickel and played D tackle. So just from a technique standpoint, how do you categorize the differences? Because Nick does that some as well.
It's just being versatile. We've all pride ourselves on that, making plays in the run game. And I think that transition to third down and passing down. So, I love my role and love my position on the team. And I, try to do it to the best of my abilities to help us win games.
Fred, this is one of the few times I haven't seen you walking around with a football at Duke. So I'm gonna give you one here, teleconference. I'm gonna hand you one right across there. Tell the audience why almost every meeting you go to and all day long around the facility in Santa Clara, you carry an NFL football around. What does that symbolize to you?
I mean, I give all the credit to Quan, man. He's the one who started that. Quan, he brought this mindset to the entire defense, the entire team. From the moment he got on the squad, carrying around a football is just reminding you that the ball is everything. When you're out there on the field, I'm constantly trying to attack the ball, and I think that's the mindset of everybody on our defense. And I think you saw that game in and game out when we're creating takeaways for the team.
Nick, the reigning defensive rookie of the year. Your numbers in production were among the best of a first-year player. How would you summarize your rookie season? And then this is a two-part question. This one's scary. You said it at the beginning, one of my first questions. You said you want to get better in year two. How does Nick Bosa get better in year two? What are you working on?
Just the run we made. It was unbelievable, but obviously one team ends the season happy, and we obviously want some redemption, and that's what our focus is going to be this off season. And I know I've been training, and I know our team's been training really hard. We're itching to get back to work because nobody's really used to taking this long of a break before, and obviously what's going on in the country is scary, and we're just hoping it gets figured out so we can get to it and get to work.
I thought, especially after the Carolina game, you were to win the Defensive Player of the Year, period. In the entire NFL, you were that much of a wrecking ball as a first-year player. But Javon Kinlaw, a lot of people going into the year are predicting that the 49ers are going to go back-to-back for NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, and Kinlaw might do it like you did. So talk about you two guys coming in back-to-back drafts, playing a good chunk of your career together, Nick, and wreaking havoc over the NFL. So what have you seen of Javon Kinlaw?
Oh man, he just fits our scheme so perfectly. I know Chris is chomping at the bit to get him in the building and get him doing some get-offs, and I'm just so excited to play with a caliber of player like that. We were in there grinding, rookie mini camp, all these, really getting to know the scheme, and it's going to be interesting to see how he picks everything up. Not being in the building, he looks like he's going to be a great fit. He seems like a great kid.
We had the chance to speak with Trent Williams not too long ago for State of the Franchise, and we were talking about some of the reasons he was drawn to San Francisco, why this was one of the places he wanted to be. And your name in particular came up, Nick, as a guy who he was eager to sharpen his iron, his exact words with. What's been your impressions of Trent, and are you looking forward to facing a guy like him, a veteran, a Pro Bowler in practice?
My impressions are the tape I've watched of him, and it's pretty impressive. So I'm just excited that we have a player like that on our team. I'm excited that he's familiar with Kyle's offense. So just a great replacement for Joe, and I'm going to have a really good challenge all training camp, and it'll be interesting.
Let's just go around the room. This is supposed to be the state of the franchise. So we'll start with you, Arik. What is the state of the 2020 San Francisco 49ers as it relates to the football team?
Not get complacent and continue to get better and better this coming up season. And it's going to be, it's been a weird off season. And I think we're just all excited to get back and get going and start that next season and the next journey to getting back to the Super Bowl.
Get back to that Super Bowl, it's not handed to you at all. It's a very long process. It's a very long season. And so we have to make sure that we're not thinking too far ahead. We use that experience to our advantage, but we know we got to grind even harder to make sure we get the outcome we want. And so we're excited. We're ready to get back in the building. And so when we do get that call, we'll be ready.
Now we know we could do it, so it's a win now mentality. You never know how long you're gonna have these type of guys together. Obviously, I'm a rookie, I was a rookie, and I walked into an amazing situation. But when you look around the league, great teams come and go. So we need to win now, and I think that's the mentality we have.
21 of 25 starters are returning heading into this season. Do you guys believe that the continuity and the familiarity will benefit you guys, especially having this unique offseason? That's the best way I can put it.
With all the adversity that all the teams are going to have to face, eliminating that one and being able to return, pretty much a complete core of our team will be to our advantage.
For us in our situation, having so many guys coming back as returning starters at key roles and key positions, I feel like that's going to be a huge advantage for us. And I think that we'll for sure benefit from that, and we just got to make sure continuing to work.
I think in the defensive line room, it's going to help tremendously. Just with Chris's scheme, it's really helpful to get a year under it because there's a learning curve, but once you get it, it's unbelievable, but it takes a little bit of time. Now we're just going to walk straight into knowing the technique and now just improve it.
Quick question. You were talking a little bit about Chris Kasarik, and I've witnessed Coach Kasarik on the field during practices and training camp, but how is Coach Kasarik in Zoom meetings? Do you still get that same energy as when you're on the field?
You take that, Arik.
It's funny though. Zooms are started off a little awkward, a little weird. So we were getting the hang of it, and then we got pretty used to it, and it became pretty normal. And but yeah, he's always on 1,000. I miss that though, not being around the guys, not being in the meeting rooms, not being able to crack jokes and laugh. So it was good that we were able to do it via Zoom.
Yeah, I think you could just tell like he's uncomfortable the entire meeting because he wants to be with us so bad.
He's a new dad, so he's probably missing being around you guys just as much. But we just were joined by Uncle Sherm, Richard Sherman, joining the state of the franchise. Sherm, how you doing? How's it going?
It's been a long day, a lot of ripping and running, but, I'm here now. So
A lot of being a daddy. You look good, man. So welcome.
I appreciate that.
Let me just start with the most important subject matter going on in our country, and it's Black Lives Matter. I want to know, because I know you've been passionate about this in the past, and everybody here during your recent meetings, and you're talking about not only using your voices for actions, but you want to influence change in the world. So as you talk among yourselves, what do you come away from the meeting, Sherman, and what do you deem to be the most important thing as we enter the new world now?
It's hard to pinpoint the most important thing in such an overall important discussion that needed to be had for a number of years and is finally, being had. And I think just extending this discussion and keeping it going and not letting this just be a fleeting moment. Once coronavirus is over, once sports resumes, once, everybody gets back to work, this doesn't stop the conversation. It doesn't stop the fight, and it doesn't stop the fight, of right versus wrong. This has been a wrong for way too long, and obviously the police brutality, that George Floyd suffered, and the systematic racism that has gone on and people have had to deal with and still deal with on a daily basis, that has held Black people, and people of color back from being as successful and just having a even playing field. This conversation is one that is essential and it needed to happen. But, obviously you hope this is a spark for change. But right now that's all we have is hope, until the laws change, until the way, people treat one another changes, the way police people of color changes. It's just a discussion.
With the strides that you guys took last season, how would you characterize the identity of the 49ers defense now? I'll let you start it off, and anyone else wants to jump in, by all means.
I don't know if you characterize it because you're always growing. We're just a bunch of guys who play hard, who care about one another, who care about the game, who want to be successful and want to sacrifice for one another. And I think anytime you bring that combination with the ton of, the talent that we have at all three levels of the defense, you're gonna have a recipe for success. With the leadership and the talent that we have coming back, we can be even better. We left some plays out there, myself included, and we have some unfinished business. And I think these men would say the same thing.
I think it's the way that we work together as a group on defense. The fact that we have so much chemistry with one another, I think that shows on the football field. And you can tell by when you turn the tape on, it looks different from everybody else. It just does. And I think that's just because we play so hard for one another. And like Sherm said, we have unfinished business. We got to make sure that we're capitalizing on our opportunities and not making the same mistakes that we did last season.
Kyle was talking about on the offensive side, there was one meeting they had where he spent 90 minutes on one single play. But is there something to be said about the subtleties and the nuances of defensive football to just go through all these different mental reps to really lock in where you guys could even be a better group next year?
Oh, no question. And they got through the details. And I think everybody, including myself, got better, at learning those details and the intricacies and the small details of the adjustments of certain coverages. For defense, it's like you can talk about it over and over and over, but it's about going out there and repping it and then having a conversation. If me and Quan are working together and there's two players and we got a buzz and I need him to buzz a little further, or I need him to buzz less and he needs me to be tighter. It's difference between seeing it on paper and then going out there and saying, okay, I see the spot I need to be in to execute this plays.
We talked to the guys on offense, and we discussed how George Kittle is keeping things pretty light, changing Zoom backgrounds and doing things that are very George Kittle. Who's keeping things light on the defense?
I got to say D Ford, because he's at a different place every single time there's a meeting.
Linebacker room, we weren't really changing backgrounds or nothing, but we kept it. We keep it light for sure. I mean, having guys like Quan and Dre and Aziz in that room, it's hard not to laugh all the time. I mean, everybody's always cracking jokes and whatnot.
Well, ours is kind of it's T.O., the new DB coach, because he's trying to get to know us, and nothing is harder than trying to get to know a group of men over Zoom for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's trying to break that awkward barrier of hey, I'm a fun coach, but then I still got to coach you kind of deal, and then everybody's like secretly trying to get to know him, but, you know, still trying to have their little interpersonal battles. So you still got Tart and Jimmy going at it. It's the same goofy group, man.
What did you call them? You said they were like the guys on the movie Life?
Oh, yeah, they Claude and Ray for sure.
This was a lot of fun. We seriously appreciate you guys joining us here on State of the Franchise. Please be safe. Have fun out there. And we are looking forward to getting you guys back in Santa Clara very, very soon.
Looking forward to it.
Guys.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
It was fun.